CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Nariman Isa.
Good evening. Many people are out of their homes tonight after a fire broke out in an apartment building south of downtown. It's believed one person was injured. Viewer video shows flames and thick black smoke shooting out of one of the suites of a building at 115th Street and 100th Avenue. Edmonton Fire says crews arrived just before 6 earlier tonight. Now, at one point, 12 crews were called in to tackle the fire. The fire broke out in one of the suites believed to be on the 6th floor. Now, one witness tells CTV News she saw 2 different people jump from that floor to escape the fire.
I saw one person climb out of the balcony onto the lower one below it to get out. That seemed to be successful, and then someone else, I don't know if they were trying to do the same thing and fell, but they fell from that floor and then landed on the roof that covers the driveway, and they were carried away on a stretcher.
Now, the cause of the fire is not known yet. It's also not known how many people have been displaced. Edmonton may have missed out on hosting World Cup matches this summer, but fans in our city will have a chance to see the team in action just days before the FIFA tournament begins. CTV's Jeremy Thompson has the details.
Dacchio, good ball, touchdown!
That goal and this iconic snowbank celebration helped Canada qualify for the last World Cup. 4.5 years later, fans in our city will get another chance to see the country's top talent in action.
But this time, we get to do it in June, not November. So we're fairly confident snow pants won't be a requirement.
Canada Soccer, along with the city and tourism body Explore Edmonton, announcing the men will play Uzbekistan at Commonwealth Stadium June 1st, just 10 days before the World Cup.
This event is a massive win for Edmonton, promising a stunning $21 million in total economic impact.
Edmonton did bid on being a host city for the North America World Cup, ultimately losing out to Vancouver and Toronto.
This flag, I had it in Qatar for the World Cup. I got fans from across the world to sign it.
Larry Zima has followed the team around the world. As you can tell by his scarf collection, he says Team Canada is looking dangerous as momentum builds for the tournament and thinks the friendly match is a worthy consolation prize.
Anytime you get the national team in your city, it's a good thing, but leading up, like one of the final 2 matches before the official kickoff, that's a big check mark.
Of course, in Edmonton, if you're going to mention who the players are, you have to mention our captain, Alphonso Davies. I know Alfonso's incredibly excited about this match.
The hometown hero will lead his team onto a grass pitch to be replaced with turf for the Elks football season. A city spokesperson says the grass is likely where the bulk of Edmonton's $500,000 sponsorship dollars for the event will go.
We know the energy in a packed Commonwealth Stadium with over 50,000 fans will once again give our team the ultimate send-off before the biggest tournament in our history.
Tickets go on sale January 23rd. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
A woman in Edmonton wants change after her disabled sister was left on a dance bus for several hours. Now, the bus got stuck in the snow late yesterday afternoon, and so did the tow truck that was initially called in to help. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
There are still ruts in the middle of the cul-de-sac where a dedicated accessible transit service bus known as DATS got stuck in the snow Tuesday.
I just grabbed some shovels, some sand, some ice melt, like anything that we had, any tools that we had. We were poorly equipped to be able to move a vehicle that size.
Despite Matt Music and his neighbors' efforts, the bus wouldn't budge. One of the passengers on board was Terenia Maiden's sister, who has cognitive and physical disabilities. She was scheduled to be picked up at 3 o'clock.
Got picked up at 3:30, and at 4:30 we were kind of like, all right, it's an hour and a half, 13-minute drive. Where are you? What's going on?
She called DATS dispatch and heard this.
She's somewhere in the city. She's got multiple stops before she's home. She's coming.
As maidens waited for answers, a tow truck had been called to pull the bus out.
The tow truck was stuck there, and I saw that they had moved it out of its initial first spot, and then the bus got stuck a second time closer to the front of my house.
After 3.5 hours, Maidens was able to reach the caregiver on the bus with her sister, get an address, and pick them up.
To be sitting for 3 hours with nothing is ridiculous. It's not humane. Like, I get it, it's bad. It's bad in my neighborhood too, but something else needs to happen to get them off the bus, to get the bus moving. Like another bus should have come to pick them up, or a taxi or an Uber, or some contact should have been made to the family.
This disability advocate says being stuck on the bus that long is unacceptable and communication is key.
Come clean about what's going on, then everybody's on the same page. I'm sure there'll be a lot more empathy and understanding.
That's all Maidens wanted. She says DATS has a policy to contact family if there's an accident and wants the same for this type of situation.
If I knew that they were stuck and still waiting and it would be an hour for a tow truck, we would have come a lot sooner to get her.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
In a statement to CTV News, the city says it's not always possible for dispatchers to have reliable estimates on how long a delay may be when buses are stuck or delayed, meaning this limits what information they can release to anyone looking for an update. An Edmonton crisis prevention shelter for kids is receiving more calls after the holidays. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti explains why.
Kids Cottage, Danica speaking.
The phone lines have been busy at Kids Cottage. With the magic of the holidays gone, some parents are finding themselves in a crisis.
Typically after Christmas is kind of when reality hits, and most families are heavily depleted of all the resources they've used up during Christmas time.
Parents looking to cope during their emergency can leave their children here for up to 72 hours or more. Kids Cottage provides shelter and care for infants and children.
They're struggling with providing their kids with basic necessities of life, things like food, shelter.
Between December 26th to January 7th, Kids Cottage saw a 67% increase in crisis calls compared to the same time last year. Of those calls, a third of them were related to a parental mental health crisis, followed by parents feeling distressed and physical injury or hospitalization. Kids Cottage says some parents can have more than one reason.
We know that about a quarter of the children that we have come to Kids Cottage are homeless. That would be a high priority thing. So getting evicted or looking for a different housing.
Kids Cottage only has 12 beds and can have between 30 to 50 children waiting for a bed at a time.
It can be heartbreaking. There's only so much that we can do, so it really can be hard on us and the staff working here to turn families away.
So we do try to connect families to as many things as we can as possible if we can't accommodate their children.
Kids Cottage says while parents might not want to ask for help, bringing them here while parents get sorted can help in the long run.
Given that the resource of our nature is very rare, a lot of resources go towards after apprehension has happened, but not a lot of resources go towards preventing the family from breaking apart.
With more families in need every year, Kids Cottage is already working to open a new space in the near future. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta government plans to test drinking water in all provincially owned buildings. It will spend the next year testing for lead and copper. A spokesperson for Alberta's infrastructure minister says it's being proactive. Previously, testing was only done as needed. A request for proposals published by the province says the project will cover more than 200 buildings. That includes the provincial legislature and the courthouse. Calgary's water restrictions could be lifted by the end of the week. Now, today marked a major milestone in the water main repair. Traffic is now moving in an area affected by last year's water main break. However, crews will have to rip it all up and fix it properly again in the spring. Now, underneath, the repaired section of the pipe is being closely monitored. Millions of liters of water are being pumped through the repaired feeder main to test it over the next few days. If everything holds, water restrictions will ease by the weekend.
Returning the Bears Paw South feeder main to service is a delicate process. We can't guarantee there won't be another break during this time, so we are proceeding very carefully and gradually to return this pipe into service safely.
The province is asking the city for all documents and reports related to Calgary's water system. The municipal affairs minister says he has concerns over its management and will conduct his own review. Local scientists are trying to find a cheaper way to turn bitumen into carbon fiber, 5 times stronger than steel. Now, they say in a few years, the research could lead to more jobs, while more than doubling the value of this Alberta-rich resource. CTV's Connor Hogg reports.
These machines are pulling, spinning, and heating, creating a new product out of Alberta bitumen.
The idea that there was something about the chemistry in bitumen that could be used in different ways beyond, the way it's being used now in terms of energy.
We're not using the entire amount of the bitumen. We're just going to be using the kind of the heavier portions or the lower value.
Bitumen from the oil sands is put through a process called spinning, which creates long filaments that resemble hair. Those filaments are then strung together and ran through this machine and several furnaces to improve its properties. The end result is a carbon fiber that could make the original bitumen worth 2.5 times more than its current value.
Create a higher value product from the lower value component.
The carbon fiber being made in this test facility can be used to make objects like bicycles and hockey sticks, or even for reinforcing pipelines.
It requires 50% less of energy to produce, which, from a manufacturing perspective as well as from an environmental perspective is very attractive.
Creating a supply chain, a complete supply chain all the way from producing the bitumen to creating end-use products that consumers can use.
The next step is taking the technology out of the lab and into larger scale manufacturing, with the goal of encouraging companies to move here and creating more jobs in the years ahead.
The cost of moving bitumen to other parts of the country or around the world, of course, is part of what companies will consider.
Alberta Innovates says the provincial government is excited about the possibilities, and organizations have already started to show interest, with one BC carbon fiber company relocating to Alberta to use the facility. A new way to use a product already plentiful in the prairies. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton's Deep Freeze Festival will be feeling the heat. Deep Freeze, a Byzantine winter festival, takes over 118th Avenue this weekend. Ice carvers are getting their pieces ready while dealing with unseasonably warm temperatures. Now, the Deep Freeze Festival celebrates winter and the new year. This year's theme is Under the Stars. Organizers say with the above freezing temperatures, they've had to make some adjustments.
We know that the longevity of the ice won't be as long, so we make a few different alterations as the sculptors might do. A little bit smaller pieces with more pieces so that people can see the demos throughout the weekend. And of course, the big snow hill with the ice slide is facing a different direction, so the sun isn't hitting it straight on.
Deep Freeze runs Saturday and Sunday on 118th Avenue between 90th and 95th Street. While some Canadians reevaluate winter getaways amid ongoing tensions between Canada and the United States, many are still flocking south for the season. CTV's Scott Hurst has more.
We have seen a noticeable drop for much of the year in the number of Canadian travelers looking to head south of the border, but the decline in snowbirds may not be as pronounced. A recent survey by Snowbird Advisor focusing on Canadians looking to escape the cold, mostly retirees, shows a roughly 15% drop in respondents saying they're making other plans, and some are choosing other destinations such as Mexico or Spain. But the majority of respondents to the survey say they're still planning to spend their winter in the United States.
Bottom line is, if you own a house, you are not going to go to Mexico with a house sitting in Florida or Palm Springs or something like that. Crowds are down. The amount of people attending events and things like that are 100% down, no question about it. But as far as the snowbird side of things, I'm seeing very little downturn at this point at all.
For the snowbirds who are staying home or going elsewhere, some of the reasons have to do with the current political climate, threats made to our sovereignty by the Trump administration, and uncertainty over new requirements for Canadians at the Canada-U.S. border. Also, many are pointing to the weak Canadian dollar as a reason not to go to the United States. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, coming up next, new online gambling rules are coming to Alberta this spring.
I expect there to be tons more people with gambling issues as the years go on, with just how in your face it is.
Good evening, folks. It was another record-setting day here in Edmonton as we got to 12 degrees for a daytime high, and I think there are a number of spots around the province that likely set new record highs today. We'll focus on the wind for overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. Later in the newscast.
New online gambling rules are coming to Alberta this spring. The province will soon regulate the iGaming industry to opening the door to private betting platforms while implementing changes to protect players. CTV's Tim Brooke has more on what the move means and on why some believe it's long overdue.
CJ92 radio host Jesse Mods has quit online gambling, but he's still vocal about his concerns with the industry.
I expect there to be tons more people with gambling issues as the years go on, with just how in your face it is.
These days, betting ads are almost inescapable. And once you're on these apps spending money, it's tough to leave.
If you want to stop gambling, they make it incredibly hard.
Part of that is due to iGaming rules, or the lack thereof, in Alberta. Right now, government-owned Play Alberta is the only licensed site in the province, but it's estimated it captures only about 30% of the total market. The rest goes to companies with offshore licenses who don't always have to play by Canadian rules.
We're not bringing online gambling to the province. It's already here. And so sticking our head in the sand and pretending that it's not there isn't going to make it better.
And so changes are coming. Alberta will soon regulate the industry, putting in place time and betting limits and banning athletes from promoting gambling.
Also, and the one that we are probably the most proud of is we are going to have system-wide self-exclusion on day one.
That exclusion rule would allow Albertans to ban themselves from online and in-person betting. It will be tricky to implement, but experts say if done strictly, it could slow a major problem.
That is ultimately the solution to the problem. It's you, it's not me, it's not the government. You got to make the decision for yourself.
Recent Canadian reporting says about 1 in 3 young adults gamble online. And of those aged 18 to 29, almost 24% experienced a high level of gambling-related harms, including credit card debt or savings losses. The province and Mods hope the new regulations can help curb some of that. Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, some people in the hospitality industry are slamming Alberta's tax on premium wine. Industry reps from BC and Alberta say they've taken a big hit and it's hurting the Buy Canadian movement. The province commits it's tax-friendly. CTV's Stephanie Thomas reports.
About 9 months after Alberta introduced a new tax on wine above a certain price point, retailers and restaurant groups say they are fed up.
It just doesn't make any sense. For our members, it doesn't make any sense. For Alberta consumers, it doesn't make any sense.
The province calls it an ad valorem tax. It's an additional 5 to 15% tax applied to wine depending on the per litre cost of the bottle of wine. Wine Growers British Columbia says small or family-owned wines are unfairly targeted as the majority fall into the highest tax bracket. For Vinroom owner Phoebe Fung, she says it's increased her costs by 20% and she's absorbing it for now.
We've been lucky enough, we're riding it through right now, but I will tell you, this is not sustainable in the long term. We are buying less Canadian products. It's become more expensive, so we now are going towards other countries to buy direct from them.
Some Calgary wine agents say large multinational producers are getting an undeserved boost.
It hasn't affected, these low-end wine product companies. It's all sort of the small business and really the bread and butter of and the engine of our entire national economy being affected.
We're seeing restaurant orders decline. We're seeing retail orders decline. It is now harder and more expensive to sell Canadian wine in Alberta than it has ever been.
In a statement, the Minister for Red Tape Reduction says Alberta is the most tax-friendly and open and free jurisdiction in Canada for alcohol, including wine.
Minister Nally can spin this the way he wants to, but really this makes no sense, and it is impacting pretty much every single bottle of wine over $11.25.
He says a flat, low% tax applied across all liquor would have been better. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
A man from Alberta is already making Olympic history, even though the 2026 Winter Games begins next month. Now, this is ice master Mark Messer. He's been working at Calgary's Olympic Oval since 1987 and has contributed to 6 previous Olympics. Now he's in Italy, where he created the game's first indoor temporary speed skating rink. He's been working on the ice there since October. The 2026 Olympics runs February 6th until the 22nd. Well, still ahead, an Alberta attraction looks to gain more international attention after being mentioned in a popular new TV show.
Complete reference out of the blue, got us really excited, so we came down for the day and check it out.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. Most times when you set a new record high, it's by a couple of tenths of a degree. Maybe you get a full degree. 3.5 degrees warmer than the previous record today. 11.6. The record, the morning low was -2. That was 4 degrees above the average daytime high for this time of year. And 11.6 is actually the second warmest January day in the 2000s here in Edmonton. It also means that we've now had 2 record daytime highs here this week. We might get a third one Saturday. Really windy through northern and eastern Alberta through the late afternoon and evening hours. We're starting to see that wind overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow in the Edmonton area, gusting to about 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. Could see some snow here overnight and early tomorrow morning in parts of east central and northeastern Alberta. Blowing snow could be an issue where that snow is coming down. Here in Edmonton, we'll get some clearing through tomorrow afternoon, but the wind will not back off all that much. This is overnight tonight. You can see gusts 50s and 60s. We've earlier had gusts into the 70s in parts of northern Alberta, and I think you might even see gusts. There's a wind warning in effect for parts of east central Alberta. You might get gusts in the 80 to 90 kilometer per hour range at times tomorrow. Here in Edmonton, should be about 30 gusting to 50 or 60 for most of the day, and then even through the late afternoon, early evening hours, it's still pretty breezy, but I think by 8, 9 p.m., those gusts should finally start to die down. Temperatures tomorrow morning will be around or just slightly below 0 most of central and northern Alberta. 1 in Fort McMurray after an 11-degree day today, 1 in Grand Prairie, so big drop from where we were today. Still well above average, though, 3 degrees into Red Deer. And here in Edmonton, we'll drop from 12 degrees today to a high of 5 tomorrow. A little closer to the freezing mark Friday. Another warm-up for Saturday. The record for Saturday is 9, so we'll take a shot at that. Chance of some scattered flurries on Sunday. Temperatures gradually cooling through the first half of the week, and then a bigger drop in temperature, closer to the -10 to 15 range by the end of next week. That is your forecast.
One of the 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Alberta is gaining a new international audience after it was mentioned in the season premiere of The Pit. Now, staff are hopeful it will spur on a blast of new visitors near Fort Macleod. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
Nestled at the foot of the Rocky Mountains is Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump. The historical Indigenous site showcases exhibits, trails, and lookout points of where the Blackfoot people use their knowledge of buffalo behavior to kill their prey for food.
We pride ourselves on being stewards of a sacred site. Bring more understanding of what the Southern Alberta landscape has to offer, and what more specifically what Head Smashed In has to offer in terms of the ancient buffalo hunt and the culture of the Blackfoot people.
The site, located west of Fort Macleod, was peppered into some dialogue between 2 ER doctors on the season 2 premiere of HBO Max's show The Pit.
Where are you going? Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump.
Captain Crunch flying squirrel socks. Are we talking in code or you having a stroke?
It's an Aboriginal UNESCO heritage site in Alberta.
We had no idea. It was a pleasant surprise.
It's unclear how the writers ended up featuring Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump for Noah Wile's character, Dr. Michael Rabinovich's script, but was centered around discussion of taking a sabbatical. However, that scene that aired last week has sparked a flurry of visitors to the park.
We watched The Pit. We love it. It's a great show. Big fans of ER, big fans of Noah Wile. Complete reference out of the blue. Got us really excited, so we came down for the day and check it out. We've had a ball. It's awesome.
Travel Alberta has also featured the scene in a recent video.
Heard you going on a trip?
Take a sabbatical. Leave tonight.
Where are you going?
Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump.
The Pit recently won several Golden Globes, including Best TV Series for Drama. Now, staff of the world-famous site are hopeful the international attention draws out even more curious travelers.
The average, about 250 to 275 motor coaches coming to our site, mostly from the United States. So we figure that might increase with this little mention.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, near Fort Macleod.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your evening. Good night.